Okay, so just about set up now. What I'm doing is I'm using a smaller Vic Mark chuck, but I've put on the 70mm jaws. I want a wider tenon on there to give me more support. So what I've done is measure slightly wider than the inside diameter, because we're going to hold on to that. I'm going to scribe the mark onto there, then form the tenon to hold on to. I can get a good, what's that, maybe 3/8 of a tenon on there with a nice diameter. That'll give me a lot of support when I turn the piece around. It's so important that these run true. Cut your tenons accurately. If they don't, when you turn them around, you're going to end up with a thick and a thin edge because the piece will be running out. So that's the measurement I'm going to use. Let's just put that down a moment, and I'm going to get into the more solid wood here. There's bark there going up to here. Actually, there's a bit of bark there. So I need to just take this down so I can get into solid wood for the top of the hat. Again, draw cut, just using the tip of the ball gouge. Let's just move that a little bit closer and a touch higher to about there. Tighten everything up. Tip of the tool right on the center line. We're going to do a little draw cut. It's good to have the tailstock there for support. We need that centre later on when we take the top or the tenon away from the top of the hat after we've done everything else. That's the last thing we do. See if I can get that a little faster now. Oh, absolutely. 700, 800. Good. There's a knot in the top of here as well. I can feel it and hear it. You can see the tool kicks a little bit because this surface isn't even. But I'm holding the tool firmly, cutting through. There you go. It's a nice clean cut now because I've taken the that bumpy surface away. There, there. Now. We want that hole where the revolving centre is. Nice little draw cut. Again, tip of the tool, small careful cut. Should be no hurry when you're doing this. Okay, so what have we got here? That's still bark. The bark's going right into there. I'm going to have to drop this down another. Looking at that, looking at where the bark is. I would say at least another ½ an inch. So let's do that. Clean that up. Wet wood is a delight to turn. I love turning wet wood. I very rarely get the chance. It's such a delight. There we go. Okay, so now heartwood, sapwood. Let's just get the dividers and see if I can get a solid hold. I'll put that to there. Put that in the middle. Yeah, I would. I'll get a solid tenon on there. What I don't want to be is holding onto the bark. So, what we'll do is, you guys see this? I'm going to scribe with the left leg and match up with the right leg. Do not let the right leg touch. There we go. So, stop that for a moment. Just double check. So, scribe with the left leg. It matches up with the right leg there, so I've got exactly that diameter right in the middle. As I say, don't let the right leg touch, although otherwise these will flick out of your hands and stick right in your neck. So that's going to be the size of the tenon. I've still got the centre on there, which is good. I've got it on a screw chuck. That may be, although I know, well, it won't on this chuck actually. That bit won't go through the middle of the chuck. So when I've finished the outside of the hat, what I'm going to do is come back, ease the tailstock away, ease this little nubbin down and put a little V cut in there with the parting tool. So again, I've replaced the centre because I'm going to lose it when I take that down. So, right, let's start forming some of the outside. We know where the tenon is. So, everything. I'll tell you what. We're going to make a cut. We're going to start making cuts down here. Let me see. There's a little bark inclusion there. That knot is there. I'm going to stop these cuts around about here. Again, I can't see the hat until I start taking wood away. So, move that over to there. They're fairly big cuts for wet wood. In fact, there's water on the tool rest. Now, be vigilant to clean this water up from time to time, because what it'll do is tannic acid, especially off oak or walnut, it's going to rust and blacken and affect the steel on the bed of your lathe and your tools. So be vigilant about cleaning up. See if we can get that a little faster. There we go. Now I'm up to 1300. This will make a difference. Listen and see how the tool feeds now. Wing of the tool, nice cut. Move the tool rest, look at the water running on the tool rest. So, take this a little closer. For safety reasons, always switch the lathe off when you move the tool rest. You'll notice I'm stepping them cuts. I don't want to run one cut into the other and then suddenly grab the tool. I can adjust those a little bit further down. What I'm trying to do is get to the tenon and get the right proportion for the top of the hat. Okay, that's not far off. Let's have a look at that. Oh yeah, some nice grain in there. That's where I'm going to put the tenon. So what we'll do is move the tool rest to there. I'm going to change this out, get the parting tool, and just run a parting tool down here. I'm going to put a slight tenon on. Slight dovetail. These jaws are slightly dovetailed. Right down to the line. One more. We can get a much deeper tenon. Again, that will give us more support. Put the slight dovetail on. Angle the tool slightly. Make sure that's nice and flat. You might get that a little deeper. There we go. So again, that's cut nice and accurate. Let me just get that bit. So important, makes a huge difference. Let's stop that, have a look. Okay, excellent. So I've got my tenon. I'm going to now take this further down. I might be able to get the rim below where this knot is. Okay, I tell you what, you've seen the cuts that I'm going down here, that I'm doing to get this. We're going to move the camera and we're going to do a shot from this side so you can see how I form the outside of the hat. Okay, join me in a minute. Okay, now that we're repositioned, let's start to form the rest of the... I'll show you what I'm talking about. That there, that's just that's just unfortunate. That there up to a point as well. What I may just do is put a line on here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Put the tool rest around here, make a cut, clean this face up, then I know exactly how much I've got left and what I've got to work with, i.e. how do I deal with that, whether it's in the rim, I have it in there or not. The other thing I've just noticed, the bed of the lathe already has changed colour. That's gone to a dark, well, it's starting to blacken. Again, that's the tannic acid on the steel. So, let's make a little cut down here through this face up. You'll notice when I first started, I put this on a large screw chuck. I got it from Craft Supplies, USA in Provo, Utah, and it's got a nice big steel face. That gives me a lot more support when I'm turning platters. So, move the tool rest back round to here. I know exactly what I've got left there, and there. Look, I'm just going to form the hat. Whatever's in there is in there. That's just the way it is. So, tucking everything up. So we're going to move this. That's obviously not long enough for the top of the hat. I want it slightly tapered before I put the shape in. So we're going to drop all this down. Again, same cut. They're pretty decent sized cuts for a 1/2 inch gouge. On any wood, I don't think you need to be taking much of a bigger cut than that. It's my favourite tool. A lot of the guys go out and buy these big 5/8 gouges. You don't need that. This tool is handling this perfectly. They are useful, the bigger gouges are useful. I use them when I'm going deeper in a bowl and I need the integrity of the tool. I'm going to leave a little bit extra there for a band around the top of the hat. I'm going to put a little bit of an angle on this. That cut to there. It's going to be a nice wide rim. It's looking proportionate. Again, that's a bit heavy, but we can deal with that later. I've got this. We're going to put a little curve on this edge here. Little radius there. Just, again, we're going to change the top of the hat later. Just into here. I'm going to start to form some of the curve in the hat. This helps when it dries, when you put the elastic bands around, or the string, or whichever method you do that. There's loads of different ways. Just look up turning hats on YouTube. There's loads of different ways of having the hats move. So I'm going to start to turn a little bit of the curve in. This helps when it dries to start to pull the curve up. And then downhill. So going downhill there, using the wing of the tool, just back cutting, and downhill here. This should meet in the middle nicely. We want as good a cut on this as possible. Saves a lot of sanding. Just gently forming that curve. There we go. Now we're going to put that band's too wide. I'm going to move it down to about there. I can always drop it deeper into this curve if I need to. I'm going to start to form some of the shape of the hat now. Sinks in here a little bit, comes back around. Slight swelling. into the band. We'll make that band a little deeper by cutting into there. Soften it a touch, it's too high. And there's a slight curve on the band as well. Into there. Now that we've created that flat, we can sweep that flat into the curve. Again, nice little draw cut. Blend that in nicely. A little bit deeper here now. Nice little back cut. There we go. That's still running through. That's okay. A little bit of a line on there, just ease that out. Swelling, let's stop that and have a look. Okay, that knot isn't too bad. That's an 1/8 of an inch there. This is going to be a 16th anyway. It's going to be a 16th there and an 1/8 here, so that it bends from around the middle. You don't want this to from there to be the same thickness. Otherwise, when you put the elastic bands away on, it'll bend from here. We want it to bend from that section, so it's a 16th there and about an 1/8. Sorry, it's another 16th, 32nd less than that. So whatever that is, work it out. So anyway, it wants to be slightly thicker there. Okay, excellent. I'm quite happy with the shape. There's some pretty grain in there. What I'm going to do is sharpen the tool up with a diamond hone. So let's just clean the flute out. Couple of sweeps. This is a 600 grit diamond hone, so I'll put in the flute, give the inside wing a few sweeps, then come back around here to the outside, rest the hone on the heel, bring it onto the cutting edge. When I rock it and feel that it's flat, a small circular motion, and that'll put a razor sharp edge on the tool. This is a 600 grit, finer than most wheels, or yeah, most wheels you can get. So that's that. That bit I'm happy with. That'll stand up nicely. There's no tear out on there. Just want to get a little bit more of a better finishing cut there. Then I'm going to wet it and wet sand it. Actually, we're going to put 2 little grooves in there with a V tool. Yeah, that'll just give a little bit of decoration on the band. Nice gentle cut. Ah, the difference is huge. You can see I'm getting a much cleaner cut. The difference in the colour of the wood. Okay, it's drying a little bit as I'm turning, but that is just an infinitely better cut. Sharpen your tool up before you do a finishing cut. Right, one more little detail. I need a spindle gouge. I want to do a little V cut here with the spindle gouge. What that does is it just defines where the band meets into the rim of the hat. So right on its edge, nice little slice in. Bit of a screech there because of the overhang of the tool rest. Just blend that in nicely. Just taking a very, very light cut. That just defines that nicely. Now a point tool. This one here. Point down, not point up, point down. And we're going to put a little line, decorative line in there. And a one in here. That should be the same size. There we go. So those 2 little lines just define that little band there. Okay, so now sand it up. What we're going to use is water to sand this. It's wet wood. I just reach and get water. This is going to do 2 things. When I wet it, it's going to raise the fibres. It's going to create a slurry. I'm not going to breathe in any dust. That's a pretty piece of walnut, that. I'm hoping that knot, it's a solid knot. I'm hoping that should, with a nice sharp tool, be able to cut through it. There we go, nice and cleanly. As I said, that's an 1/8. I'm getting a 1/16 out of that. I should have enough room to do it. So yeah, back to this. As you're sanding this, it's going to lose moisture. Replace the moisture that it's losing by spraying it with water. That'll help to stop the thing moving on you. And although you're not going to be sanding it too fast, and we're going to wet sand it, we're going to keep it wet. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute when I get this soaked. Okay. So yeah, come back in just a minute when I start sanding. I'll show you what I'm looking for when I'm sanding. Okay. And I'm going to clean the bed of the lathe. I don't know. I'm going to move the tool rest. You may be able to zoom in and see the colour where the tool rest is on the bed of the lathe. Look what it's done. Oh, see that? That's all tannic acid. It's changed the colour on the bed of the lathe. Look at that. So I'm going to clean that off as well. I like to keep my equipment in good nick. Right, okay, see you in a minute.